these controllers and still have a 3D visualization with the point clouds running.
Measurement professionals everywhere, Leica Geosystems is the trusted solution provider in geospatial development. Simplify work in the field with smarter form and function that is truly an extension of you. As you've come to expect, Leica Geosystems has set a new global standard of innovation. Again, be captivated.
So what has been done is not that we changed any anagrammic on our total stations. We did not change the accuracies from what they are. They are already proven in the market. What we have actually brought in and brought forth is the fact that now you can basically interact with the data. You can dive into the site, and you can dive into the digital world around you. This is all standing with the help of applications. Previously, with everything that you had on board a total station or on board a controller with a GNSS antenna, was mostly that you had to go through 200 and something clicks in order to get the entire workflow all together. Now it's all about windows. So you have number of windows up with 2 clicks away, and you can be inside whatever data, whatever project, wherever you want to be from where you stop. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the new Leica CS20 field controller. I'll just put up something here from the anagrammic point of view, that you have now a 5-inch screen on top of a controller. Visualizing everything becomes way too easier now, way too broad. With a 5-megapixel camera, very much something like what you have on an Apple 4S maybe, which comes with a flash. So capturing the data, capturing the real time, real world with the picture is also possible using these controllers on the field. Integrated communication ports would have a Bluetooth antenna. That is a long-range Bluetooth antenna, goes up to 50 meters plus. Integrated enable 3.75G modem and a wireless LAN. So what would the modem do is it basically is communicating with the antenna or with the total station or with a GNSS antenna on the base. You're basically bringing everything to a one-man operation. It's all about automating. It's all about how you can reduce the manpower in the field, where you don't have 10 people standing with a prism and it's only one man carrying the controller and a prism on top of a pole, and the total stations would follow him, which will be coming up and on the innovation point from what total stations have become now. So if a 5-inch controller is not something that satisfies your palate, let's go on to a 10-inch controller. That's a CS30. A 10-inch screen with a Q3 keypad, an SD card, a USB slot, Bluetooth and LEMO, IP68, with military grade 810F, minus 30 to plus 60 temperature range, up to 10-hour battery life, and only 1.5 kgs in weight. And again, you're not carrying this weight necessarily in your hand. You're basically putting it on a pole, which is with an antenna or with a prism while you're walking around and controlling the total station. So this design basically is an award-winning design from the Red Dot Design Awards of 2015, and it was very much mentioned there. So why not pick this option instead of going in for the CS20, which is only 5-inch. So I did go through this, and moving on. So it comes with an Intel i5 processor inside and Windows 8.1 as the backdrop. Very big screen, as I already said. It's a 10.1 wide ultra XVGA. And this is how it looks in your hand. It's a beautiful piece of instrument, isn't it? When you're carrying it around on a pole. So what is the exact, what are we trying to communicate here? It's like, let's make survey a more fun exercise than a boring day-to-day job. It is fun when you're working around with your mobile phones, isn't it? And that's what we are trying to do here. We are trying to make it more fun. You are going to do your job, yes. And then let's play around with the data. Let's see how the 3D looks. It's always good to move around in 3D and bringing the 3D right on the field. Moving on to the new Leica Viva and Nova instruments. So the Viva, Nova, we already got these instruments way back in 2013. And what we have now put is that this Captivate app application is on the total stations as well. Not necessarily that you have to carry a controller in your hand. The new Leica Viva and GNSS solution, where, as I said, the antenna, the receiver, everything what you have already experienced. So people who have experienced Leica know that the accuracy, the robustness, the precision of Leica is 100 years old, and it is very much proven. Let's take it to the next level by taking these controllers on the field along with the antennas. What happens is that you are actually, as I said, diving into the site. You're not just seeing something, you're actually experiencing it to yourself. Communicating, sending this data across all over the internet with a 3.75 gig SIM card. You can also communicate, you can be on the web, and you can send this data immediately. So that's the tagline. So don't see the data, experience it. That's the key visual. How do you experience the data is when you are actually seeing it on a BIM site. So we are talking about construction, for example. Sorry, construction, yeah. You're capturing this data. You're using an MS-60, for example, which comes with an inbuilt scanner, which scans around 1,000 points per second. When you scan, you can actually visualize, as I said, with a very fast processor, the 3D point clouds that you have collected on the field. So you're basically bringing it all right there. So this application would adhere to the BIM, that is Building Information Modeling. Moving on to the next would be the construction. So you can bring on the construction sites right there on your pad, and the survey, the ground survey. So everything is live now. It's no more only about keeping everything into a total station, going into the office, and then experiencing the data. The next generation of TS and MS series. So TS is basically the total stations, and MS is the multi-station application. What does this bring to the table along with Captivate? What has changed? A small video to show that, what comes up.
Measurement professionals around the world are always faced with a challenge when there are several targets on site. Difficult conditions, such as strong reflections, rain, bright light, and reflective clothing can influence tracking. To provide ultimate performance, Leica Geosystems has developed the world's first self-learning total stations with ATR+, a completely new, unique, and simple solution. The latest generation of Leica Viva and Leica Nova total stations and multi-stations adapt themselves to site conditions without any user intervention. ATR Plus learns non-relevant targets and automatically excludes them from future searches. For Leica Viva and Leica Nova, there is only one target: yours. No matter who follows you, no matter who crosses your path, no matter if you are in the right light, no matter if you lost touch. Leica Geosystems total stations and multi-stations are always with you, automatically. Experience the new generation of Leica Viva and Leica Nova, the world's first self-learning total stations.
So the video just spoke about self-learning total stations. What is the self-learning? What does the total station do that justifies self-learning? So what we have here the environmental conditions are learned. So what happens? That you are in the field. The environmental conditions would always affect the data accuracy, the range. For example, when you're working with non-prism mode, what happens is that the range is 2,000 meters. Maybe I get it, I don't get it, it depends on the sun. But these total stations that are self-sufficient, intelligent total stations that have been built now would adhere to the condition. They would adapt to the weather condition around you. And mind it, it's not only that you pre-configure the condition now. It adapts to the condition as it changes. So whether it's sunny, it's rainy, it's cloudy, it's dusty, low visibility, good visibility, it adapts on its own. Second is that it does not take any foreign reflections. Again, we are talking about one-man show where you're connected to number of targets. So there is high reflectance from, say, a bright surface, but it's not a prism. So ADR plus, as we are talking about, is actually something that sticks to the prism and it does not go to any other surface. So it neglects them. That is intelligence. That is self-learning. You are not doing anything. The total station is adapting to its surroundings on its own. So that's what we mean when we say self-learning total stations. Moving on and taking the side just a bit to the LiDAR platform now. So we did see what the total stations can do. What an MS-60 is a scanner, but it scans 1,000 points per second. How much can I do with 1,000 points per second? Can I do a 360-degree scan with a 1,000 point per second instrument? Yes, I can. But how much time do I have to do that? A 1,000 point per second instrument would take some time to actually capture one position, whereas 1,000,000 points per second with a scanner would make a difference. Today, everything is about LiDAR. We are talking about point clouds. We are talking about processing engines and how much point cloud data can one software adhere to or capture. So let's talk about what mobile mapping is all about. Mobile mapping is not only about taking up a scanner, it's about making a conjunction between a scanner, an IMU, a GPS, all of this together, along with adding the additional features of having a camera for photogrammetry. So this is how the data would look when you are basically working with a mobile mapper. At 100 kilometers per hour, 9 frames per second with a camera, you capture every detail with 1,000,000 points in your hand. So when you're working with within the software, you're not basically working on two different platforms from photogrammetry and LiDAR. We're talking about bringing it into picture-to-picture. So you have the photogrammetric data, and you also have the LiDAR data to work around with. Identify the assets, identify the features from photogrammetry, but use the accuracy of LiDAR data to actually pick those assets from the point cloud. So photogrammetry is basically 20 to 30 centimeters accurate because you're working in a 2D environment, whereas LiDAR is anywhere around less than 1 centimeter accurate. So when you pick those points and you rotate them in 3D, you very well know that the point you picked is the right corner, is the right curve, is the right line. How does it all change? So you bring in imagery, you bring in LiDAR, and you bring in the radar technology together. This basically is a point cloud with color information. So you're working on the images, identifying the features, but you are picking those features from the LiDAR data. So we're talking about picture-in-picture, everything together. Moving on, the next solution from mobile mapping is the Pegasus T2. That's the trolley solution. You can only use a mobile mapper, well, while you can use a mobile mapper, this also is a mobile mapper, but a car-driven mobile mapper where you have a motorable road to yourself. What for the assets where you basically cannot take a car in. But yes, you can very well walk through those roads or through those pavements. Say a busy junction, for example. Use a trolley solution for that. The same principle, nothing changes other than the scanners, because you're making it more compact and more user-friendly to work around with. So you have the same IMU, the same GPS, the scanner, and the cameras. So the principle, the concept remains the same. The only thing changes is the solution, how you are driving it. You put it on a car, or you walk around with it. What we have launched in 2015, Hexagon Live, that happened in Las Vegas last month, June, is a backpack. So no more dragging. If you are on a busy junction, you can use a trolley. But if you have nowhere to go around, if you are in a jungle, for example, and you still want to capture the data, take a backpack along with you. Put it on your shoulders and just walk. You're still collecting LiDAR data, and you're collecting it at speeds of 10 to 20 kilometers per hour walking speed or anything. You can put it on a bike, basically a driver and a bike guy sitting on a bike. They can just roll around through that jungle, for example, and you'll have everything. So what is that? This is position agnostic. So what happens is that you lock the position once, and you're going through, and you'll have the accuracies in term. And the accuracies that we are talking about by using the mobile mapping solution is less than 1 centimeter in open air. And if I am under a canopy, I'll still be somewhere around 2 centimeters. So what we are talking about is survey-grade accuracy and not mapping-grade accuracy. So these are the systems which come with accuracy, with precision, and with photogrammetry. 9 frames per second cameras. This basically is what the whole message is. Simplify how you work every day in the field. So we are only simplifying things for you. From hardware point of view, we are not bringing in 10 different kinds of total stations, 20 different kinds of GPS antennas, 20 different kinds of mobile mappers. It's about how you make your life more simpler, how it becomes more easier for you to go around collecting data and actually experience the data to yourself. So for measurement professionals everywhere, Leica Geosystems is the trusted solution, which is pretty much proven. Provider in geospatial development. As you have come to expect, Leica Geosystems has set a new standard. So yes, we are setting up a new standard from collection point of view, from diving into the site point of view. So a surveyor no more is a surveyor who only is a boring surveyor taking one point at a time and finishing his job and going back. He's actually working around having fun collecting the data. And that's what the crux of this whole presentation was. Thank you very much for your attention. And we are, if any more questions, we are there at the booth right outside this room. Thank you so much.